Hello, my name is Richard Whalley and I'd like to introduce my open instrumentation composition Assynt to Letterewe. This piece can be played by any combination of 3 to 13 instruments. This is an indeterminate piece in which players choose from various options presented to them as the music unfolds. It is a musical portrait of a spectacular view which I saw from the ferry from Ullapool to Stornoway, northwest Scotland, in September 2021. Assynt is to the left of the photo you see now, further north, and Letterewe is to the right. I'm just fascinated by these shapes. At the time, I just couldn't stop looking at them. In music, I think line is really important, and I spend a lot of time crafting lines. And here I was, staring at these incredibly beautiful and characteristic profiles of mountains. How could I not make the connection? When writing the piece, I had some fun playing around with how the shapes might be juxtaposed. The most difficult bit was thinking about how the musical materials could be derived from these, and then how they could be combined in a musically satisfying way that isn't overwhelming. Therefore, players would make choices and not play everything that is written. Nature never stands still, and I wanted the music to shift in atmosphere and character as it progresses. Also, we all know how stormy Scottish weather can be, and I decided to incorporate what I called fog rhythms to be played by using non-pitched sounds to help allow for the possibility of misty, foggy, rainy, bad weather conditions. Imagine you are walking through a landscape defined by similar recognizable features, but in different arrangements. These could be trees, or mountains, or even buildings. As you move around, there's a consistency of shape and texture, but the experience is dynamic. This changing of perspective or viewpoint gives the landscape depth, and this is what I aim to represent musically here. The score is therefore like a map. I love maps, but you'll never hear it as notated here because of the choices players will make. The attraction of open instrumentation is that each instrument brings different options to the table. I wanted players to be able to listen and use their imaginations to choose which timbres to contribute as the piece unfolds. Beautiful things can happen in this kind of scenario, often through serendipity. You can see within this extract from one of the parts the kind of choices players make. At any time, they can wait for the right moment to enter, refrain from playing altogether, or take a more leading role and play something prominent. I think of Pauline Oliveros, her concept of deep listening. I want the players to deeply listen to each other, follow their whims, and be able to use their imaginations. I could, of course, say much more about the optional solo line, the possibilities for singers, etc., but all of this information can be found in the preview scores on the Composers Edition website. By the way, what you hear is a performance by students at the University of Manchester, where I teach. Here we have 2 flutes, violin, viola, trombone, piano, and percussion. If the recording were close-mic'd, you'd hear a lot more detail, but I'm really grateful to these musicians for playing with such sensitivity. So, in this composition, I've tried to do something which I don't think exists elsewhere. And it would be really great to hear it for different combinations of instruments, be they familiar or unfamiliar. If you're at all interested in playing this piece, I'd love to hear from you or get in touch with Composers Edition. Thank you.